You know, if you're an influencer of any kind and create creator of content or anything, and you have a web page or even you have a simple Facebook page, I mean, and you don't create anything, you just maybe copy other people's stuff or repost it or whatever, you know. But going down when you start reading the comments, it's like going down a rabbit hole to hell, you know. People write things and you sit there and you're like, where is this coming from? Did he read the same thing I posted? I mean, it just doesn't add up. And, you know, look, people are sick. And people on the internet are even more sick, you know. I used to do Zoom with AA, and we had meetings on AA on Zoom and, you know, we get the Zoom bombers, and they come in and show pictures of porn and say graphic things, and sometimes you couldn't even have a meeting because it was so bad. But and they had to set up parameters and things you had to do, and they had to block the comments. You couldn't have comments at all because of it, you know, stuff, and you couldn't share. You couldn't do a lot of things because of Zoom bombing, you know. It ruined the meeting. It made, you know, and these people, you know, they don't have two brain cells to rub together. And they're ruining the meeting, they're ruining everything, and they get off on it, you know. And they're probably sitting there with a beer doing it, you know, kind of thing. So, I don't know. That's really where I wanted to start this message, just to send a message that, you know, people are crazy. Hey, they have psych wards in every state, you know, pretty much. So, you know, when you go down south, they don't really deal with mental illness. They put you in jail. You know, they don't have a mental hospital. Their mental hospital is cell block, you know, whatever. So, you know, and there's no such thing as therapy or psychiatry. And I argue against psychiatry. My goal in life is to end the practice of psychiatry, you know, because it's all scam, you know. It's so easy to say, yeah, he's crazy, pay me $1,000. You know, it's like, are you sure he's crazy? I don't care, pay me $1,000. You know, it's like, the money, it's just when you have the money behind it, it makes it not real. I mean, on my X today, there's a doctor on the cover of Newsday doing unnecessary procedures. So he's banned from being a doctor because they found out he was doing unnecessary procedures. And, you know, psychiatrists, they do that every day. That's their job. But from 9 to 5, they're doing unnecessary procedures, you know. But go prove it, you know. So, and then they have, if you say something, you know, like, you say something that they can benefit, and they can write it in that blank spot on your diagnosis form, you know. They'll write it in, and you'll write it in at 20, and you'll be 80, and they'll still be reading that, right, what you said at 20. At 80, they'll be reading it to you, saying, oh, you said this. You know, they're just scum of the earth. I call the psychiatry, the psych ward, it's the mafia, you know. As soon as you think you can get out, they drag you back in. You know, you can never get out of it. You're in it for life, you know, and the judges and the cops, they're right there making sure you stay in it, you know, and they have all these support agencies and liaisons and agents that are supposed to find you housing, and they don't do crap. They don't do a friggin' thing for you. All they do is collect a paycheck because they got your name on the list and you're a meal ticket to them, and that's who you are. You know, so I have my problems with psychiatry, as you can see. You know, rightfully so, though. I mean, they sell to the parents. You know, they're like, oh, you know, the parents will have a real problem with their child or something. They'll bring them to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist will be like, yeah, he needs medication. You know, I hope you have health insurance. It's gonna be like $1,000 a month for his medication. You know, and he has to have it for the rest of his life, and he can never work again. All these nightmare scenarios. You know, they never use the word cure because cure means end of billing. When you cure somebody, it's the end of the billing cycle forever. You know, so they can never, and the goal is never to cure you. You know, that's not even on the table. So it's always treatment. It's that kidney dialysis that never goes away. There is no kidney to get a transplant, so you're on dialysis forever. And the funny thing is, a lot of those medications they give you for psych meds gives you diabetes, which leads to kidney failure, and you need dialysis, and you die from kidney cancer and stuff. And they don't care. They don't care because the billing goes from psych meds to dialysis. As long as the billing keeps going on, that's all they care about. You're a fucking cow. They just make money off of you. That's all. They move you from pasture to pasture and make money. It's ridiculous. You go to the diabetes doctor now you got to get diabetes meds. You got to go to the heart doctor because the heart gets screwed up from the diabetes. So you got to go to the heart doctor. You got to get heart meds. And it's just an F you the whole time. And you're the one getting effed. And they ain't helping you with damn. They ain't helping you with friggin' damn. The medication is worthless. It's just a scam. It's snake oil to the max. When they sold snake oil in the old days, they say all the list of things that it did for you, and you just got drunk and passed out. And when you woke up, you're like, yeah, I feel better. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. I've been in many psych wards, and like I said, I only go to psych wards to keep my sanity. I get away from my mother for a while, for a month or two, and it's like, if it wasn't for psych wards, I would be insane. And I'm not saying there's not insane people out there, but people have car accidents, they bang their head in a car accident, and they're never the same. And my friend smashed his head into a curb without a helmet riding a motorcycle, and he had no shoes on either, so he kind of deserved what he got. But he's fucked for the rest of his life, and he's on medication. I don't think the medication worth a damn for him because he has a brain injury. Medication doesn't take away the brain injury. So I think it's just the government, the psychiatrist's way of making money off of a brain injury that they have no. It's like putting a cast on a leg that's not broken. So, but they get the money for the cast and nobody knows the difference. And that's what they do. And, but yeah, people have mental illness. They're born with mental illness. I don't know if they classify autism as a mental illness. I don't know why they wouldn't. Has to be some sort of mental illness. But it's just, it goes beyond. And I feel bad for the people with mental problems. I really do. And if I had to make another classification of who's going to heaven, mentally ill people are going to heaven, all of them. But now don't get yourself diagnosed so you can go to heaven. And God knows who you are. He knows who mentally ill is. So I'm not going to get away with that. But I don't know, it's really sad. I see them at the mall and the special kids go to the mall in the group. I guess they live in a group home and stuff. And they must have them big group homes. They're like 20, 30 of them. And they all go to the mall and hang out at the mall in the food court. And I'm glad they probably have a better life than most people because they have 30 people to hang out with and get along with and hang, whatever. Most people live alone, miserable. But I never see them mistreated. They always seem happy. They always have a smile on their face, And nowadays they have phones, or iPads, and they do things like that. So I feel sorry for them. There's not that many things they can do, I don't think they have the finances to do a lot of the things. I don't know if they have that brain capacity to sit through a movie, or I guess it would have to be a special movie, and if it does, there might be 1 or 2 a year that they release in that class. But I don't know. I understand the problems. I just don't have all the solutions at this moment. So we will find out. We're gonna try. But I'm not deluding myself to think I can make everybody happy, because I can't. Narcissists, psychopaths, top on the list of people I can't make happy, and won't even put one foot forward to try to make happy. So my goal with them is to make them miserable for all the misery they caused us. So I'm starting with my mother, and I think I'm off to a good start.